Do I stand out from the crowd enough? I've been worried about that lately. I feel like everybody just walks around me and nobody cares. I put a name tag on myself so people know who I am. I think I know how to get people to notice me. I got a toothpick now.
There's always something that makes one look at the video game industry and go, what's going on here? For some, it's microtransactions. For others, it's the fact that games are coming out unfinished nowadays. For one person, though, it's the fact that there's no games about war out there. And we never understand that guy. Look at this. Wait. This is what bugs me today, I guess. Deluxe editions. These things are confusing. You think the way to get me to buy something is to slap a word under the title?
Yeah.
There are like so many different versions of a deluxe edition. Some can get mixed up with others. I don't know why we can't just have one definition of a deluxe edition, but it's whatever.
How long is it gonna take, Merriam-Webster, you lazy assholes?
One definition is a version of the game coming out day in, day with the standard version, coming with some bonus stuff thrown in there. Nothing like a collector's edition that comes with a slew of goodies, but maybe some extra DLC or character animations in the menu with Sonic Origins. You basically pay a little more at launch to get some bonuses. Another thing can be sorta kinda tied into the previous definition, but instead, some other deluxe editions come out later on, sometimes when the developer is done with the game, coming with all the DLCs and stuff. Most, if not all of the time these versions come out, they're labeled as Game of the Year editions, even if they absolutely did not deserve the title of Game of the Year. The third definition I can think of is a port. Games being brought over from one generation to the other with all of the DLC included as a little bonus for waiting or buying the game again. Look, you stupid, dumb, stupid, cretin, stupid head, I waited to buy this game and I got all the DLC on my brand new console. That's cool. I bought it twice. Then you have whatever the my copy of Far Cry 3 is. The fact that I bought this game at a used game store makes the GameStop branding really ironic. So, got all those definitions down?
I only wrote down the GameStop one.
It seems the only thing tying these together is DLC. I guess that's just what a deluxe edition is, though. A version of the game that comes with most, if not all, of the DLC. And not every deluxe edition is called a deluxe edition. There are terms like special edition, premium edition, and limited edition. Collector's editions exist too, but those are typically for die-hard fans of something to feel good about spending too much money on a game. I don't consider them deluxe editions because while fundamentally the idea of both deluxe edition and collector's edition are the same, collector's editions are a whole other can of worms. But then some games release as a limited edition that by and large are collector's editions, and then others are just the game with DLC. The issue with researching the topic like this is that some uninformed article writer will get all of these mixed up. This article from Red Bull of all places has special edition in the title, but then it's all about collector's editions.
That's why I'm a Monster Family. These guys have a motorcycle video game, and they actually know what deluxe edition means.
But before we stop talking about collector's edition, I do want to say that I have the legendary edition of Halo 3. Game only though, I only have the game. Also, if things weren't as confusing, these terms aren't even exclusive to video games. There are movies and music being released all the time as deluxe editions, but for simplicity's sake, we will just be talking about video games. Let's get back to those three definitions. The launch date deluxe edition is usually one that comes with some DLC in the case. You pay a few extra bucks for the version of the game with all the marketing lingo on it, and even then it's up in the air whether the DLC is available at launch or not. These are for the fans of the series, the ones that are willing to pay up and show support for the franchise, or for those times you get really drunk and buy 5 copies of Gotham Knights Deluxe editions, because who else is buying those? Your words, not mine.
No, that's not a true story. I wouldn't do that. Yet.
There's also a bunch of different versions of the same game being released at launch, all a marketing ploy to make you think that you're special for buying this version of the game instead of this version. Deluxe, Super Deluxe, Gold, Ultimate, Grandma Says You're Quite the Handsome Boy Edition. All of these terms are to give you that self-satisfaction and that sweet, sweet instant gratitude. I would say buying these are a little silly, but then I remember that there's probably people out there who thought it was a good idea to buy the Deluxe Edition of Rainbow Six Extraction, and it really makes one realize that they probably need that self-satisfaction. I do have Battlefield 3 Limited Edition though. I saw the premium edition at a store once and was really close to getting it before I realized I would own 3 copies of Battlefield 3. Obviously, I can't say that buying these deluxe editions are bad. I own one, and I am not disappointed with myself because it's a game that I genuinely enjoy and in a series that I am a huge fan of. But a lot of companies are doing digital deluxe editions. The one I see doing the most is Sega. Almost all of their games have a digital deluxe version. Now, these I completely don't understand. Outside of the fact that companies are making the push to go all digital, I really don't get it. It's not just digital versions of deluxe editions. I can understand those for the most part, but these are deluxe editions made specifically for digital platforms. Why don't I get it? Well, like, half the time these collections come with nothing compelling. Most of the time they come with cosmetics that you can usually just get separately and items that you can get by, get this, playing the game. Is that much different from a normal deluxe edition?
No, but my life was too bitch-free for the past week, so I kinda have to bitch about something.
It's just so weird that companies say, this is why you should buy digital, and then the incentives are lame. But don't get me started on day one editions. It's basically deluxe edition, but you can say, hey guys, I was there for Agents of Mayhem. No, you weren't. You bought this for $6 on eBay.
Oh yeah? But where's your Agents of Mayhem Day 1 edition, huh?
Where's yours?
Don't ask questions you're not ready to know the answer to.
Some deluxe editions release after the game launched, including some DLC to throw out to people who waited to buy the game. I refrained from putting ports in with this section because those deluxe editions were very specifically created to be put on a newer console. I'm talking about a game that gets released on a console, then a few years later gets a reprint on that same console as a deluxe edition. These are necessary, I guess. They're not bad, and really, it's an effective way to re-release games that most likely have all their DLC released. Or release Grand Theft Auto 5 in 2020 with some online stuff unlocked from the get-go. I have never played GTA Online, but when I wanted to buy GTA 5, this was the only version available at GameStop. As I said before, these are usually labeled as Game of the Year editions, even if the game did not get close to that title, Far Cry 6. Because these are essentially your everyday deluxe edition, but released later on, there's not much to discuss.
One game that did come out in this form of deluxe edition was Skyrim. It came out with the Legendary Edition in June of 2013. But tell me, is there a way I can play Skyrim on my Xbox One? Ah, thank God, that's been bugging me for 3 weeks now.
Some games don't get the privilege of being played on every console ever, so when the next generation comes out, it's kind of tradition at this point to release a new version of a best-selling game. Remakes don't count, however remastered editions do. I don't really see them any different from your standard deluxe edition. Main reason I'm bringing up ports is because of one game that likes to go by Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's right there in the name, I kind of have to. 8 Deluxe was one of the first major titles on the Switch, essentially just Mario Kart 8 with all the DLC unlocked, among other changes. I'll consider it a deluxe edition. Now Kirby, get the out, you remake. While I am putting ports here, usually these are called definitive editions, mostly used to bring a game from one generation to the other. If you, for one reason or another, didn't buy the game originally, then here's some DLC for you in this brand new version on this brand new console. These are pretty good actually. It's a nice convenient way to get games on newer platforms and to keep games alive. Some games are doomed to stay on the console they came on, so seeing games escape that with some goodies thrown in is really neat. These releases keep these games alive for generations, and while some are Skyrim Anniversary Edition charging $70 for Skyrim with some mods packed in, most of these re-releases are good.
So, imagine Party Baby's Definitive Edition, right?
No! Aww. So, after I explained all of that to you, what the hell is a deluxe edition?
I don't know.
It seems like even though there's multiple versions of Deluxe Edition, the one thing connecting them all is DLC. If you take a look at all the examples I've given, while almost entirely different, they all have DLC in one form or another. They are fundamentally all the exact same thing. A game, but with more included. Whether it be DLC from a previous console unlocked right from the get-go or some codes included in the case, if it doesn't have DLC, then it might not be a deluxe edition. And you know what? Opinion alert, I think deluxe editions are a little stupid. This is coming from someone who has previously bought a deluxe edition. I don't want to say that there isn't a market for deluxe editions. There is, but it really depends on the game and what's included. Here's the thing, sometimes deluxe editions have extremely lackluster bonuses that don't really justify spending 10 extra bucks. I would like to have the Dragon of Dojima skin in Like a Dragon Ishin, but if that's gonna set me 13 bucks, is it really that worth it? Other times, it's a game that has absolutely no business getting a deluxe edition. I highly doubt that there's a market for deluxe editions of whatever Ubisoft's got going on, or whatever the next live service asymmetrical multiplayer mediocre licensed game is coming out next. There are too many versions of some games, and sometimes not all of them come out with the same stuff. That's not to say there aren't good deluxe editions, not to keep tooting my own deluxe edition owning horn, but Doom Eternal's deluxe edition was a pretty good buy, honestly. I did buy it on sale, but I still think it's worth the price regularly. Eternal is a pretty good game. The DLC expansions weren't much to write home about, but for someone like me, it was good enough to keep me busy. The one skin included is pretty neat, and the deluxe edition comes with the option to make this weapon sound like the ones from the original Doom games, which is adorable. I bought it because I was a fan of Doom, and admittedly I already had the game on Xbox, but the deluxe edition being on sale was a neat excuse for buying it on PC. But I don't think there's much fans of World of Warships Legends. The deluxe edition is going for $4 at GameStop. Whether you buy a deluxe edition, no matter what type it is, no matter what it has or what game it's for, is all up to you. While I do think that ports have the best bang for your buck, you can get Gotham Knights Deluxe Edition. I'm not stopping you.
Okay, but I finally devised something that will make me truly stand out. I have 2 whole toothpicks now.